Well, Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. Here's the table, though. So Luke Pinches will win the group if it's a draw between Chris Wakelin and Yao Pengcheng. If either of those two win, they will win the group. That's how it all stacks up. So Luke Pinches by no means out of this yet. Here we go. Chris Wakelin, he did play a lot better in that match with Pinches. He had a 1-2-8 total clearance to complete victory. So he was favoured at the start of the day. Let's see if he can win the group. He made a poor start, but it's been a group where the players have sort of cancelled one another out. And it's all on this match. I think, Phil, we thought it would be, but not quite the way that it hasn't panned out the way we thought it would.
Yeah, been a really strange old group. Luke Pinches could still win it, having not put together any great break of note. Yao Pengcheng had a good match against a Choiski, making an 82 and potting some really nice balls. Wakelin started out horrendously, but then radically improved against Pinches. So, yeah, all up in the air.
Yeah, of course, Wakelin hasn't played competitively since the World Championship, whereas, of course, some of the other guys have been in the Q school. Yao Pengcheng has been in the qualifiers where he won 6 out of 6 matches. So, oddly enough, the world number 13, sort of the rustiest of all three. Sorry, of all four. But he's warmed up as the day's gone on.
Yeah, his next engagement after this is the Shanghai Masters, where he'll play a wild card. But of course, he would love to go there as the Championship League winner, and he could well do so. But first, he has to win this match.
Well, that didn't work out as intended. So a chance here for Yao Pengcheng, 29 years of age, second season professional. Struggled on his first season, but has vastly improved already in the just a couple of tournaments he's played this season. But that's not in.
His first match today against Luke Pinches was rather awkward. Didn't really get any quality table time the way the balls ran. He did bounce back nicely in his second, but that was a confidence drainer early. And I thought the way that Chris Wakelin made his century to complete victory over Pinches in his second match suggested that he might be tough to handle in this one.
Yes, I think the key thing for Wakelin, he hasn't got frustrated. You know, he didn't play well earlier, but he's just stayed calm and serene, although he'll be frustrated by that one, I suspect. He was stretching, but he's that sort of character. He's got a good temperament generally. But they're both aware this is a big match. It's a must-win for either to win the group, of course. Luke Pinches, I'm sure, keeping more than one eye on it in case it's a draw.
One.
Just seen Stan Moody, he's here ready for tomorrow. He'll be in action, of course, on table 2. Well, slightly nervy start here.
Yao Pengcheng the 1.
In a lot of tournaments, we have the pot success rate available to us. Not here, perhaps just as well, because it would be quite low for all 4 players in this group. And there's another miss.
Well, this Is he mighty thin? To right middle. Cue ball will be running a bit here. Well, he'd be delighted with that kiss. My word.
One.
It's a dream.
Six. Seven.
Time and again, we've seen anything played with pace into this pocket repelled. So he must have struck that one absolutely pinpoint.
14. $15. 20.
Seems he's just on this. Yeah, well, from that angle, it looks like it goes.
$21.
Didn't have a great angle to get into the reds.
28.
Well, it's very close to this red. To the middle. The referee's hovering here because the push could be on. It's not going to reach. He had to be delicate with it, but too delicate in the end.
1.
He's had some very good moments here at the Mattioli Arena. Made a 147 in the Invitation Championship League earlier this year, much earlier. Won the shootout here in fine style, actually, beating Julien Leclerc of Belgium in the final. That wasn't the full story. He made 119 break in that final, which is remarkable, really, given the format. So is it going to be another successful day in Leicester?
12.
Well, he's nudged a couple more reds into play here. Five members of the top 16 originally entered. Of course, Mark Williams withdrew before his group. Corin Wilson, unfortunately, had to withdraw on the day of his group. Got Sergio Wei and Zhao Xingtong still to come after Wakelin here. Well, he's going to have to be red to middle to continue.
18.
Well, unless he can... Well, I think the red's in the way. It'd have to be a plant, wouldn't it? Well, he's playing it.
This game is complicated enough when you knock one ball into another to pot it, let alone bring a third to the party. He is a very good middle pocket potter, but he doesn't fancy the one to the left of the pink.
Well, either way, this is a big shot in the frame, isn't it? Whether he gets it or doesn't get it, it's going to have an impact. Nicely done.
19.
And now he really is a big favourite here to go 1-0 in front.
Yeah, good view from down below. You can see the red go in without any fuss whatsoever.
It's another good example, though, of his good attitude, I think, because he didn't give it the woe is me when he wasn't on anything nice. He just, very calmly, he looked at the red to middle, he looked at the plant,
26.
he decided he preferred the plant, and he made it.
$27.
He can call on far more experience than his opponent.
34.
He's been in 18 world ranking event quarterfinals, 5 of which were recorded last season.
$35.
Yeah, he's established now in the top 16. I guess the question is, how does he go to the next level? And I think one thing is scoring with Wakelin. 20 centuries last season. That was the least of any top 16 player. So I know it's not all about centuries, but that is a good metric in terms of how players are going. Zhao Xingtong made 82, for example. He was the top
42.
scorer. So if he can increase that, then maybe that'll bring about a bit more success.
$43.
And yet he's a really good cueist. Technically, everything's in the right place.
48.
Yes, and I think he's got a very good attitude and very good temperament. So it all kind of knits together.
49.
So the blue will put him 25 in front. He's going to need both remaining reds here. One at one end of the table and one at the other. Just off the bulk cushion.
$54.
Even when played at modest pace, plenty of these have stayed out, so has to be really careful. And he
55.
was.
The big shot then to get on the last red, which is all he will need to win the frame barring snookers.
$62.
Well, it's not nice, this, where he's landed.
In that vicinity, it's the worst place he could have finished. Had the cue ball stopped a little early or bounced off the ball cushion, no problems. This is, as Dave said, a real smelly one.
It's one of those, I mean, he doesn't have to play it, but it is frame ball, so you would think he would do. Not easy that, but it's finished okay.
Chris Wakelin, 62.
And he wasn't behind the green by luck. That was pure design.
33 in it then, 35 available. But Yao Pengcheng has to get this red safe. And he has done.
Green not on its spot, but it's still available. Everything's available. A fact of which Wakelin is well aware. Needs to miss the brown. He didn't, but I think he's okay.
These little flicks and nudges at the right time can make such a difference. Now he's got to hit this red, first things first. Yeah, nicely done, as long as the cue ball stays out, which it has done. Ishpreet Singh Chad has levelled up with Lepe Fan, so 1-all. Ishpreet Singh Chad needs 1. Lepe Fan needs them both to win that group. Well, he's left a chance here. Now, the black hasn't gone into a great spot. He can take a pink off this red.
One.
Lucky to find the gap. He is on the pink in a fashion, but far from ideal, and position on the yellow from there would be very troublesome indeed. First, though, he simply has to pot the pink. That's a prerequisite.
Yes, if he doesn't, he needs 2 snookers, so it's got to go in. Didn't get close, to be honest, and he's seen enough. So, Chris Wakelin takes the opening frame. Remember, whoever wins this match wins the group. If it is a draw, then Luke Pinches wins it. So there's 3 players involved in this match, but Chris Wakelin claims first blood. So 1-all, as I mentioned, Lepe Fan and Ishpreet Singh Chad on table 2. And Ishpreet has played superbly today. 3-0 over Chachapong Nasser, 3-0 over Wang Jingbo. He's had a century, so he's played the best snooker, but he's got to get another frame, and that helps. 1 to be coming back for stage 2.
Can you make it that India is the 7th country with the representation in the last 32? I think he has been the best player on the day. Can't really dispute that. But Lepe Fan fought hard to get a 2-all draw first up against Wang Jingbo after being 2-1 down. And then he did run a break of 101 in beating Chachapong Nasser 3-0. So he's a real tiger, is Lepe Fan. And in common with Chris Wakelin on table 1, a Scottish Open champion.
Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel with that match through to a conclusion. Now Wakelin has won the first frame, but of course he's still got to win this match to win the group. Same applies for his opponent, Yao Pengcheng.
What a pot that was. What a pot. With lovely position attached. When he's under the balk cushion, Wakelin is one of the best potters I think I've ever seen. Not just to the top corners, but also to middles.
Eight. Nine.
It was noticeable how comfortable he was in that Scottish Open final. Of course, his opponent, Chang Bing-yu, was in his first final, and he wasn't comfortable. But Chris Wakelin's got experience now of playing in these big matches. And he sort of had the manner of a man that day who fully expected to win, which is a great feeling, and very much like the man who the trophy's named after, Stephen Hendry.
Yes, and we all know what Chang Bing-yu is capable of. I think if you've seen all of the snooker from the Bedvictor Championship League so far, you would agree he's been the most impressive group winner.
17.
So trying to pot this red and flick off the bunch to remain on the black. Of course, Wakelin is the last player to beat Wu Yize. Did so at the Tour Championship. Commentated on every ball of that match, and it was a tale of two halves. Wu Yize one day in the first session was brilliant. In the second session, he was all over the place, and Wakelin took advantage.
It's funny because I was here
32.
at this very venue in 2023, the WST Classic ranking event, where Luca Brissell bombed out to Hayden Pinney. And you would never have thought then he's going to be world champion in a few weeks. Maybe he was just saving it for the Crucible Wu Yize as well. Anyway, this is another black, so these are all black so far. Saying earlier that he's not the record books, but it's a niche stat. He's made the earliest ever maximum in a calendar year. January the 2nd it was when he made that one at the Championship League. Here we are on the 1st of July. Some work to do. He's got to get into the red soon, of course, but he's still on the black.
41.
Well, this 147 would be of greater merit because A, it comes at a point where everything rests on the match, and B, the table's playing considerably tighter.
Well, now they're going to open.
48.
Well, first frame of the day, he had a black like this with the rest, and he missed it on 33 against Brian Ochoyski. which is where his problems in that match began. He did win the frame, but it was very messy. But it's almost identical shot. But not an identical result. There's work if it's going to be a maximum, there's work to do. Red's got on the cushion, but the main thing in this match is to win the match and win the group, of course.
Yeah, with no financial incentive for a 147. Its chances are lessened, I suppose.
57.
But pride is a factor as well. He would love to do the Championship League ranking and invitation maximum double. That's a stretch, I know, but I'm just throwing it out there.
It's even more niche than my January the 2nd one, but anyway, it's still true. But as I say, the frame is there for the taking. Well, now, we'll find out here, 64. I guess.
I think he'd be ill-advised to try and hit this too hard. Maybe just punt it through for the blue.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. It's been a brilliant break. I mean, the first shot, probably the shot of the day. The pot with the cue ball tight to the baulk cushion, the long red. World away from the struggles of the first match. Well, just overrun here. And he still needs another red.
70.
Going to be another plant, is it? No, apologies. He could get through to that red, but he's missed it. So not over the line yet. He's got one safe, but 70 in front, 75 on.
70.
Yeah, all that hard work and just a little clumsy on the blue.
Yao Pengcheng immediately taking the safe red off the table. Oh, sorry, off the cushion.
Wakelin's guard is up because of the position of the remaining balls. He will not be moaning about that one. Okay, he might have left a choice of a couple of reds from distance, but he's got two reds on the right-hand side cushion.
Got to be said, Yao Pengcheng tactical game has not been as strong as his attacking game. I mean, that cue ball hasn't even reached the baulk line. Hand on table. This is frame ball for 2-0 for Chris Wakelin to take full control of this match. Ooh. Meat nearly fluked it and got a good cue ball, but a mile away from the pot.
And there I was a few shots ago saying Wakelin's guard is up because the balls are nicely in the open. Well, it's changed a lot since then. So the red has been left to the middle pocket. $75 points on, so he doesn't have to exclusively pot blacks, not just yet.
One. Five.
Now the brown going in gives him less latitude.
Six.
Of course, it's a must pot on the black. So now with the four reds barring penalty points,
13.
he can pot 3 blacks and 1 pink to win by a point. And here's the pink now. So after this, it's blacks all the way.
$20.
Well, he's come very close to this
21.
black. If he doesn't pot it, he needs 2 snookers. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, just refusing to leave the table.
28.
Wakelin's concerns will be rising. Not very nice to lose a frame when you've made a 70 break in it.
Well, again, he's got to pot the black. It's a different one to the last one, harder, you got to say. Thin cut
29.
to this corner. Again, if he doesn't pot it, 2 snookers needed. Oh, this is a great shot. Oh, don't go in green. We didn't deserve that. So he's still alive.
36.
Yes, looks like a battle on the last red. All of Wakelin's early work is being eroded. Thought for a moment he'd
Yao
fluked
Pengcheng,
it,
36.
which might not have been a good thing, actually. But he's dropped on the black. Played the snooker, of course.
Yes, I would have got it, but for that knuckle. So we're back to the scenario where he's got to get this safe after hitting it, obviously. Oh, he's missed it. Or has he? Or has he? Wow. And he hasn't left it.
There are things that happen in snooker you can't really believe. When he missed that red, Wakelin must have thought, OK, 2-0. And then suddenly this happens. Not just hitting the red, but leaving it safe as houses. Well, it wasn't as safe as houses. What a pot from Chris Wakelin. OK, he could play it with a certain degree of safety, taking the cue ball into bulk, but that really was a crunch. A crunch ball knocked in because the frame seemed to be flowing away from him. The momentum seemed to be with his opponent. Excellent pot. Best of the day.
Yeah, and another sign of good temperament, because he was entitled to be left with a much easier pot, but he didn't complain. The yellow is in as well. Got down, knocked it in, and he's going to be 2-0, which means he needs one of the remaining possible 2 frames to win this group. So Yao Pengcheng cannot now win the group, but he can stop Chris Wakelin and hand it to Luke Pinches. But Wakelin looking good, leading 2-0. Lepe Fan 50 in front, 51 on. 1-1 with Ishpreet Singh Chadha on table 2, so it may be coming down to 1 frame to decide it. Remember, Ishpreet needs a draw. Lepe Fan needs to win. So if he's 2-1 up, then it will be about the last frame. Dramatic day. It was good, Phil, to have Liam Pullen here. He's a very enthusiastic young man and a terrific player, of course, and he seemed to enjoy himself.
Yeah, really good lad. Let's hope he has an impactful season.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the Championship League, there's Stephen Hallworth, who's here tomorrow. He started out doing a day's commentary, impressed everybody. Now we can't get rid of him.
Of course, I made a faux pas. Asked Liam off mic who he supported. Was he a York City man? And turns out that's not the case. He was born in London, moved up to York when he was a babe in arms, and like his father, he's a QPR fan.
Well, we all have our cross to bear. Oh, and Ishpreet Singh Chadha. Oh, now that would have been pretty catastrophic for him if that had gone in, because he would have needed a snooker. As it is, Lepe Fan looking to pop this red and take the group, barring snookers, down to 1 last frame. Not to be, though. On we go. Chris Wakelin breaking off 2-0 up, needing 1 more to win this group, despite it wasn't only that he lost his first match, he didn't play at all well. He wouldn't pretend otherwise. But in the words of Brian Moore, it's up for grabs now.
Well, he missed a black, didn't he, in that first match that beggared belief. He just looked at the ball for about 10 seconds in abject confusion. What a good pot from Yao Pengcheng. Of course, by going 2-0 down, his chances of winning the group have been destroyed. But by getting to 4 points, he could earn some ranking points and money. Well, he would, because Brian Ochoyski finished on 3 points.
Yeah, another example of safety not quite finding its mark there. Just to say, Ishpreet Singh Chadha is playing on, but he's 58 behind, 43 on, so it's looking very much like 2-1 Lepe Fan, and very much like the last frame will be deciding the group there on table 2.
Although there's minor places to play for, we've seen a lot of this. When you know you can't win the group, sometimes the air goes out the balloon. But Chris Wakelin still fully incentivised. Now, does he take on the big blue? If he does and pots it, what a chance.
Yeah, he's in the ascendancy. I think he's got to take it on, hasn't he? Oh, wow, how close was that?
Again, just underlining how tough these pockets are. We keep saying it. We are guilty of repetition, but it's worth saying because on these Rasson tables over the years in the Invitation Championship League, they've been generous. It's the polar opposite this time.
Yes, we've all seen pots go in down the years on tables and we felt they shouldn't, but it can work the other way. I mean, he struck that blue really well. Anyway, it's given Yao Pengcheng this opening. It is 2-1 Lepe Fan, confirmed on table 2. Big frame coming up there.
Well, Dave, there's empirical evidence about the tightness of these pockets in the century break total. Drastically down on last year.
Mine. $16. $17.
Well, it's not great. Well, can he still get through to the blue? If not, then obviously the green pots. Yeah, so the green was on, so he's okay.
$20.
The chairman, the president, the secretary, treasurer of the Yao Pengcheng fan club right now is Luke Pinches. Oh, and he'll hate that, will Luke?
He's just resigned his membership. Yeah, he needs a draw to win the group.
20.
It's the worst position to be in, though, isn't it? You need a result in a match you're not playing in, so you can't do anything to affect it. Now then, this blue is on down the bulk end, so get that back on its spot, and this is a pretty good chance, you've got to say, with the reds open, and we know he's playing well. He's getting a bit more confident as the day goes on.
Yeah, and you're not just talking about someone trying to clear the first hurdle. With Wakelin, you're talking about someone who could conceivably go all the way and hoist the silverware.
Exactly, and I was saying about how does he go to the next level and sort of bed himself in as a top 8 player. Well, the truth is you do it by winning tournaments, and okay, it's not the biggest tariff, but it will give him a head start on the other top players if he were to win the title. Sort of step towards, or sort of a help towards the Players' Series, where obviously you earn ranking points as well.
7. $14.
His day started. Woke up and there was water coming in through his roof. He had to sort out a plumber. Maybe that's why he wasn't in the correct headspace for his first match. But those plumbing issues have been resolved, and maybe the snooker issues are going to be resolved as well.
Well, he's a quality player, Chris Wakelin, and like all quality players, tends to come good when he has to. So it's a question now of whether he can just polish this off. You know, he's a player, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, you wouldn't necessarily have pegged him for a top 16 player. You think there's players in the mid-ranks, you think, can they actually make that move? And he has done. He started with that shootout win, and he's carried it on from there through sheer hard work and determination and results. And the good news is Judd Trump's not in this tournament, because he's the one player who's never beaten. 14 times he's played him. But there's plenty of players these days worrying about playing Chris Wakelin. Just a question, as I say, is whether he can now finish the job at this visit.
$30. $31.
Just a classy player.
36.
Very similar, actually, to someone who he would come up against in the second phase if he wins this group. Former Championship League winner Dave Gilbert.
37.
It would be Gilbert, He Guoquang and Wakelin, with one more position to be filled. That's Group E on July the 13th.
$44.
I'm loath to set myself up for a fall, but he's a brilliant middle pocket potter, Wakelin.
$45. $50. $51.
Well, this is a quality break. Completely focused on the job in hand. In more ways than one today, he stemmed the tide. Started badly. Played much better in his second match, and again, if anything, has stepped up a level in this one.
$59.
So this black is match ball to win the group. Well, he'd like to have got on the red, obviously, because now there is the chance to play for Snookers, but he's in
66.
very, very strong position, clearly. Especially after that shot.
Chris Wakelin, 66.
Well, class looks as though it's going to prevail. Barring a major turnaround, he's going to be the 12th top seed to emerge from 17 completed groups.
One.
Indeed, it's over, Dave.
Wakelin.
Yeah, that was a really good performance in the last match. He got better as the day went on. He recovered from that early defeat. And Chris Wakelin, the world number 13, one of the highest ranked players in this Championship League, will be joining us for stage 2 in a couple of weeks' time. He defeats Yao Pengcheng by 3-0 in the final match. Well, a very interesting group. It was tight early on, but they are the results. Wakelin with 2 3-0 wins. They speak for themselves, of course, in the final session. Luke Pinches, of course, he was hoping for a draw there to win the group, but he still came away with a couple of wins himself. And, of course, Yao Pengcheng, 1 win and 2 defeats. So Luke Pinches at least getting second place. Leipei Fan and Ishpreet Singh Chadha, the frame they're playing right now, frame 4 on table 2, that is going to decide the group. Leipei Fan needs a win. Ishpreet Singh Chadha needs a draw. It's 2-1 to Leipei Fan. So whoever wins that one, and there's only 1 ball potted, Leipei Fan's 1-0 up, is going to win the group. So a very tight group in progress. This is how the table finished. 2 players on 6 points, but of course Wakelin with the superior frame difference over Luke Pinches. All players won a match. Brian Dachoyski got 3 points, but finished down in last position again due to frame difference.